In a bustling kingdom of ancient India, there lived a young man named Aryan. He was skilled, intelligent, and ambitious, but his life had been a series of disappointments. He often found himself underestimated by others, his peers, his family, even the woman he loved. Frustrated by the lack of respect and recognition, Aryan sought the guidance of a wise sage named Acharya Vishvaketu. Known to have studied the teachings of Acharya Chanakya, Aryan climbed the steep hill where the sage resided and poured his heart out, explaining how he was mocked for his failures, ignored in conversations, and dismissed as unworthy. Acharya Vishvaketu listened patiently, then smiled. "Do you wish to change how the world sees you?" the sage asked. "Yes," Aryan replied. "I want them to see my worth and regret underestimating me." "Then you must become a silent warrior," said the sage. The sage began Aryan's training by taking him to a marketplace. He handed Aryan a rare gemstone and said, "Show this to the merchants and ask for its value, but don't sell it." Aryan went from shop to shop. One merchant offered 100 coins, another 200, and a third dismissed it as worthless. Finally, Aryan reached a jeweler who examined the stone and exclaimed, "This is priceless. I can't put a value on it." Returning to the sage, Aryan shared his experience. "Remember this," said Vishvaketu. "Not everyone will see your worth. Stop seeking validation from those who cannot recognize your value. Be like this gemstone, rare and unyielding in your standards." One day, the sage deliberately angered Aryan by insulting him. Aryan felt his temper rise, but remembered the sage's teachings. He took a deep breath and remained silent. "Good," said Vishvaketu. "In life, people will provoke you to see if they can control you. The moment you lose your temper, you hand them power. A true warrior remains calm under pressure, for emotions are like fire. Controlled, they provide warmth. Uncontrolled, they burn everything down." In the following weeks, the sage introduced Aryan to debates and arguments among scholars. Instead of participating, Aryan was instructed to observe silently. At first, he felt out of place, but over time, he noticed how his silence made others curious about his thoughts. They began seeking his opinion, valuing his words more when he finally spoke. "Silence," said Vishvaketu, "is not the absence of speech, but the presence of strength. When you speak only when necessary, your words carry weight." Aryan's next test was to prove his capability without announcing it. He noticed the neglected farmland near the sage's ashram. Quietly, he worked every morning, clearing weeds, sowing seeds, and watering the fields. Months later, when the land flourished with crops, the villagers were in awe. "See," said the sage, "you didn't need to proclaim your plans. Your actions spoke louder than words." True respect is earned through deeds, not declarations. The sage taught Aryan the importance of being unpredictable. "Don't let everyone know your next move," he said. "Mystery creates intrigue." During a village festival, Aryan participated in a wrestling competition. Instead of charging in, he studied his opponent, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. His calculated unpredictability caught everyone off guard, earning him victory and admiration. One evening, the sage shared the story of how he overcame betrayal from a close friend. "Life will test you," he said, "but every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Just as gold is purified in fire, hardships refine your character." Inspired, Aryan reflected on his own struggles. Instead of resenting his failures, he began to see them as stepping stones to success. When Aryan's family began to see his transformation, they asked him to lead a family business. However, they tried to dictate his decisions. Aryan politely but firmly set boundaries, making it clear that he would only take charge if given full authority. Respect isn't given to those who beg for it, the sage reminded him. It's earned by those who demand it through their actions and boundaries. In matters of the heart, Aryan faced his greatest test. The woman he loved underestimated his value, often taking him for granted. Following the sage's advice, Aryan stopped chasing her approval and focused on his own growth. Months later, when she saw the confident, accomplished man he had become, she regretted her earlier dismissiveness. But Aryan had moved on, understanding that his worth was never tied to someone else's validation. Aryan poured his energy into mastering skills, growing his business, and building a respected reputation. The very people who had once mocked him now sought his guidance. "Let your success be your response to those who doubted you," the sage said. "True revenge isn't about hurting others. It's about proving them wrong through your achievements." As Aryan rose in stature, he remained consistent in his principles, calm, focused, and respectful. The sage reminded him, "Greatness isn't achieved in a day. It's the result of small, consistent efforts." Aryan's reserved nature, combined with his decisive actions, made him an enigma. People admired him, sought his counsel, and wondered about his next move. "Remember," said Vishvaketu, "being mysterious isn't about withholding. It's about revealing only what's necessary and letting curiosity do the rest." Years later, Aryan became a leader admired by all. When asked about the secret of his success, he credited the sage and his teachings. "The path of a silent warrior," he said, "is not for the faint-hearted, but it transforms you into a force that commands respect, admiration, and success." Aryan's journey reflected all 12 points, proving that Chanakya's timeless wisdom, when practiced with discipline, can turn anyone into a silent warrior, a person who moves through life with strength, purpose, and unshakable self-worth. Let's explore these lessons in light of 3 interconnected principles: the power of silence, the value of letting actions speak louder than words, and the mastery of emotional control. Chapter 1. The Power of Silence. Chanakya once said, "Before you speak, consider whether it will benefit you or harm you." He believed that silence is not a sign of weakness, but a tool of immense strength. Ask yourself this: why do we feel the need to justify ourselves? Why do we rush to explain our actions when someone doubts or criticizes us? Often, this urgency stems from insecurity or a desire for approval. But Acharya Chanakya would argue that true strength lies in restraint. In his lifetime, Chanakya faced countless critics and enemies. Yet he didn't waste time engaging in petty arguments or defending his every move. Instead, he used silence as a strategy to observe, analyze, and let his opponents reveal their weaknesses. Silence forces others to reflect. It creates a void that compels them to question their own assumptions. Imagine a scenario. You're in a meeting, and someone questions your idea. Instead of jumping to defend yourself, you pause. You remain composed. That silence unsettles them. It shows that you are confident enough to let your idea stand on its own. As Chanakya taught, silence is not about hiding. It is about demonstrating self-assurance. Chapter 2. Actions speak louder than words. Now, consider this. When was the last time someone truly changed their opinion of you because of what you said? Probably never. Words are fleeting, but actions leave a lasting impression. Chanakya believed in the principle that a person's actions determine their value. He knew that respect and trust are earned not through grand speeches, but through consistent, decisive action. Think of his relationship with Chandragupta Maurya. When Chanakya first met Chandragupta, he didn't try to convince people of the young boy's potential through words. Instead, he guided Chandragupta through actions, training him, planning strategies, and leading him to victories. The result: Chandragupta became one of the greatest emperors in Indian history. In your own life, if someone doubts your abilities, don't waste time explaining yourself. Instead, let your results speak for you. Did someone question your skills at work? Deliver a project so flawless that they have no choice but to acknowledge your expertise. Did someone underestimate your worth in a relationship? Show through your actions that your value is non-negotiable. Acharya Chanakya's approach teaches us that arguments and explanations rarely change perceptions. Results do. Chapter 3. Mastery of Emotional Control. Finally, Let's talk about emotional control. How often do we lose our temper when we feel wronged or underestimated? How many times have we reacted impulsively, only to regret it later? Chanakya had a remarkable ability to remain calm and composed, even in the most challenging situations. He taught that anger is the enemy of decision-making. When emotions cloud your judgment, you lose control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. Imagine this. You're faced with someone who deliberately tries to provoke you. What would Chanakya do? He would assess the situation, understand the intent behind the provocation, and respond in a way that benefits him. Reacting emotionally gives your opponent power over you. Staying calm ensures you remain in control. In one of the most famous stories about Chanakya, he faced immense betrayal from the Nanda dynasty. Instead of reacting impulsively or seeking immediate revenge, he channeled his emotions into a calculated plan. He didn't just overthrow the Nandas. He built an empire with Chandragupta Maurya that stood as a testament to his wisdom and strategy. For us, emotional control doesn't mean suppressing our feelings. It means channeling them productively. When someone undermines you or challenges your worth, don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you flustered. Instead, use that moment to reflect, plan, and act with precision. Chanakya's lessons on silence, action, and control are timeless. Silence speaks when words fail. Actions define your worth more than any explanation ever could. And emotional control ensures that you remain the master of your destiny, no matter the challenges you face. Acharya Chanakya, the master strategist and philosopher, would argue that to command respect and admiration, one must embrace mystery, uphold high standards, and recognize self-worth. These principles are not just tools for relationships, but are cornerstones of a powerful life. Let us dive into these teachings and see how Chanakya's wisdom guides us to be intriguing, respected, and confident individuals. Chapter 4. The Power of Mystery. Why are we drawn to puzzles or unsolved mysteries? It's because they challenge us, spark curiosity, and demand our attention. Now, think about this in terms of human behavior. What happens when you reveal everything about yourself too quickly? You become predictable, and predictability leads to loss of interest. Chanakya understood this dynamic well. He believed that not everything should be shared openly. A calculated sense of mystery keeps others intrigued and eager to know more. Take, for instance, his strategy during the downfall of the Nanda dynasty. Chanakya never revealed his full plans to anyone. Even Chandragupta, his trusted protege, was kept in the dark about certain steps until the time was right. This secrecy not only protected the plan but also maintained an air of intrigue that kept everyone on their toes. In relationships, whether personal or professional, being an open book can weaken your position. Instead of oversharing your thoughts, take a step back. Let others wonder what you're thinking. Let them guess your next move. When you cultivate mystery, you command their attention and respect. Ask yourself, do you want to be someone people take for granted, or someone they can't stop thinking about? The answer lies in mastering the art of being unpredictable. Chapter 5. Upholding High Standards. Now let's talk about standards. How often do we compromise what we truly want just to please others? How many times have you lowered your expectations because you were afraid of losing someone's approval? Chanakya would call this a mistake. He taught, the one who respects himself is respected by others. A person who sets and enforces high standards becomes a beacon of strength and reliability. Think about Chanakya's expectations of those around him. He chose Chandragupta Maurya as his student because he saw potential, but he also demanded discipline, commitment, and excellence. He never accepted mediocrity, and that refusal to compromise led to the creation of one of the greatest empires in history. In your life, setting boundaries and standards is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about valuing your time, energy, and worth. If someone doesn't meet your expectations, be it a friend, partner, or colleague, it's not your responsibility to lower your standards. Instead, stand firm. The right people will rise to meet them. Remember this: the moment you accept less than what you deserve, you teach others that it's okay to undervalue you. And once that happens, regaining respect becomes an uphill battle. Chapter 6. Recognizing your self-worth. Let's address one of the most critical aspects of life: self-worth. How often do we seek approval from others to feel validated? How often do we place others on pedestals while forgetting our own value? Chanakya's life was a testament to the belief that self-worth is non-negotiable. He never sought validation from others, not even from kings or nobles. Instead, he built his own path, knowing his worth and refusing to let anyone undermine him. He believed a person who depends on the approval of others is like a bird in a cage, always limited by someone else's perception of their capabilities. This is why Chanakya always encouraged self-reliance and confidence. When you tie your self-worth to someone else's opinion, you give them power over your happiness. Whether it's a partner, a boss, or a peer, their approval, or lack of it, dictates how you see yourself. But what happens when you remove that dependence? You become unstoppable. Think of it this way: would you respect someone who constantly seeks your approval? Probably not. The same applies to you. When you know your worth, when you don't need anyone to validate you, you exude a confidence that is magnetic. Chanakya's teachings remind us that true respect begins with self-respect. If you don't see yourself as worthy, why should anyone else? The world reflects how you see yourself. So see yourself as someone who deserves the best, because that's exactly who you are. Chapter 7. Breaking free from validation. Why do we crave validation so much? Is it because we doubt our abilities, or is it because we've been conditioned to seek approval? Chanakya warned against such dependency, saying that relying on others for validation is like giving away your power. He emphasized that true strength comes from self-reliance. During his time, Chanakya faced criticism and doubt from many powerful figures. Did he waste time convincing them of his vision? No, he focused on his purpose, knowing that his work would speak for itself. When you seek approval, you place others in control of your confidence. Imagine this: you work hard, but instead of taking pride in your efforts, you wait for someone to praise you. What happens when the praise doesn't come? Your sense of worth crumbles. Chanakya's life teaches us the opposite. He believed in taking control of his destiny. He didn't ask others for permission to succeed. He showed them through his actions. The lesson here is simple: stop chasing validation. Start building self-confidence. You don't need anyone to tell you you're capable. You already are. Ask yourself, do you want to be remembered as someone who always sought approval, or as someone who commanded respect simply by being authentic and independent? Chapter 8. Strength through adversity. How do you view challenges? Do they feel like walls blocking your path or stepping stones to something greater? Chanakya's life was filled with adversity. He was humiliated, underestimated, and betrayed. But instead of succumbing to these hardships, he used them to sharpen his intellect and strengthen his resolve. He believed that adversity is the ultimate test of character, saying, "A wise person uses difficulties as opportunities to grow." Consider his rise to prominence. Chanakya was once humiliated by the Nanda king. Instead of giving in to despair, he vowed to overthrow the dynasty, a seemingly impossible task. Yet through relentless effort and strategic brilliance, he succeeded. Life's challenges are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. Every test, every hardship is an opportunity to grow stronger. Whether it's a difficult relationship, a career setback, or a personal failure, these moments are not the end. They are the forge where greatness is shaped. When faced with adversity, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? The warrior who rises from the ashes of defeat is always more formidable than the one who has never been tested. Chapter 9. Success is the ultimate revenge. What do you do when someone underestimates you or wrongs you? Do you waste time proving them wrong, or do you let your success do the talking? Chanakya's philosophy on revenge was revolutionary. He taught that the best response to insults, betrayal, or disrespect is not retaliation but excellence. He proved this through his actions. When he was humiliated by the Nanda king, he didn't waste time arguing or seeking immediate revenge. Instead, he focused on his ultimate goal, to dethrone the dynasty and establish a new order. His success was so overwhelming that it silenced every critic and doubter. In today's world, many people get caught up in petty games, trying to prove themselves to others or seeking revenge in ways that ultimately diminish their own worth. Chanakya would advise against this. True revenge is not about hurting others. It's about elevating yourself so high that their opinions or actions become irrelevant. When someone underestimates you, see it as fuel for your ambition. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, professionally, personally, and mentally. Every step you take toward your goals is a step away from their negativity. And when you succeed, your achievements will speak louder than any words ever could. Think about this. Would you rather waste energy trying to prove someone wrong, or would you rather build a life so extraordinary that their opinion doesn't even matter anymore? Success is the ultimate revenge because it is undeniable, it is empowering, and it is yours alone. Chanakya's teachings on independence, resilience, and success offer a roadmap to greatness. Stop chasing approval, embrace challenges as opportunities, and let your achievements be your response to those who doubt you. These are not just principles, they are strategies for a life of respect, admiration, and fulfillment. Chapter 10. Emotional Control. How often do your emotions dictate your actions? And when was the last time reacting impulsively led to a better outcome? Chanakya believed that emotional control is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. He said that a wise man does not let anger, fear, or desire cloud his judgment. During his quest to overthrow the Nanda dynasty, Chanakya faced countless provocations. Did he react impulsively? No. He maintained his composure and let his strategy speak for him. Emotions are powerful, but when unchecked, they can destroy relationships, reputations, and opportunities. Imagine a heated argument where you let anger take over. Words spoken in a moment of fury can leave lasting damage. Chanakya would advise stepping back, calming the storm within, and responding with logic instead of emotion. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means mastering them. When you stay calm in chaos, you gain clarity. And clarity is power. The next time you feel emotions rising, pause. Ask yourself, will this reaction serve me, or will it hurt me? This simple act of reflection can save you from making decisions you'll regret. Chapter 11. The Power of Silence. Have you ever noticed how silence can make people uncomfortable, or how someone's calm, quiet demeanor can make them seem more powerful? Chanakya understood the power of silence and wielded it masterfully. He believed that speaking less and observing more is a hallmark of wisdom. Why? Because silence forces others to reveal themselves while you remain in control. In his political strategies, Chanakya often stayed silent during heated debates, letting others expose their plans and weaknesses. His silence wasn't a retreat, it was a calculated move. He knew that every word spoken unnecessarily is a weapon handed to the opposition. Think about this in your own life. When you rush to explain yourself, justify your actions, or respond to every criticism, you're giving away your power. Silence, on the other hand, makes others curious, cautious, and even uneasy. It shifts the dynamic in your favor. The next time someone underestimates you or challenges you, resist the urge to argue or defend yourself. Instead, remain silent and let your actions do the talking. Silence communicates confidence and control, qualities that command respect. Chapter 12. The Magnetic Pull of Mystery. Why are we drawn to mysteries? Why do we chase what we can't immediately understand? Chanakya understood this psychological principle long before it was studied by modern thinkers. He knew that people are naturally curious, and that mystery creates intrigue. His strategies were often shrouded in secrecy, making him unpredictable and keeping his enemies guessing. In relationships and interactions, predictability can lead to boredom. But when you maintain an element of mystery, when people can't fully understand your thoughts, actions, or intentions, you become fascinating. Imagine someone who shares every detail of their life, every thought in their mind. Over time, their predictability makes them unremarkable. Now think of someone who remains composed, reveals only what is necessary, and always leaves you wondering. That's the person who captures attention effortlessly. To cultivate this magnetic pull, don't be an open book. Share your thoughts and feelings selectively. Let people earn the privilege of knowing you deeply. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means valuing your inner world and inviting others in only when it aligns with your purpose. Chanakya would say that mystery is a weapon in any relationship. When people are curious about you, they are drawn to you. When they feel like they've figured you out, they move on. Be the puzzle that keeps them intrigued, and you'll find that your presence becomes unforgettable. By mastering emotional control, embracing the power of silence, and cultivating an air of mystery, you transform the way you navigate relationships, challenges, and life itself. Acharya Chanakya's timeless wisdom reminds us that the most potent weapons are not swords or words, but the mastery of ourselves. Thank you.